This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be hanging out in an old western town. You know, the ones with the saloons and different things like that. But at the same time, we're going to be creating gadgets and there's going to be aliens around from outer space. They're coming down. We're going to be doing some interesting thing today in Area 1851. It's 2 to 5 players, takes about 60 minutes to play. It's a Euro level strategy game where you're making gadgets and putting all sorts of modifications, and some of these can be from aliens or cowboys or the natives. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. In Area 1851, you're going to be sending your assistants to different spots around the town, like the recycler, the storehouse, the workshop. You're going to be doing different actions. You're going to be trying to create gadgets with modifications to then deliver and sell. Each player is going to start with their color of 3 really cool looking assistants, 3 4-sided dice, and a score marker, which is a UFO. Everyone also gets a player aid, which gives you all the actions that are on the board. And on the other side actually tells you how the phases of the game go and how much your action points will be that you spend. Each player is also going to start the game with 5 Tinker cards, which are the main cards in the game that you'll be doing gadgets and modifications with, and a Feat card, which essentially is hidden goals. And at the beginning of the round, an event card is drawn. This is also used as a timer in the game. Not all the cards are used, but the deck is set up in a very specific fashion to make it, I think, around 15 rounds long. And different events do different things. This place, every player draws 1 more Tinker card, but these can do some crazy things. I'll show you more of these later. This is a pretty basic one. Now, we do the event phase, and then we go to preparation, where everybody draws and makes sure that they have 5 Tinker cards, because you'll be using them during the subsequent rounds. And then everybody basically rolls their dice. So you have your 3 dice, you would then roll them, and it's a 4-sided dice, so this is a 1, a 1, oh, and a 1. I rolled 3 1s there. Then everyone goes to actions, and all of these things are played simultaneously, even the actions. And that's huge in this game because everyone's doing their actions at the same time along with everything else. So here we have 2 actions to do things. And here are the actions that you can do. Some of them are free, some of them cost 1 action point, but let me show you in general what you're trying to do. Over the course of the game, the main way to get points is to create gadgets that are really coolly modified. There's 3 factions in this game. The green cards are alien cards. The blue cards are settlers, or just, normal early settler humans there. And then the brown cards are the natives. Now, between those 3 factions, there's also 2 different types of cards. There's some gadgets where this says a nasal insert, a baby cradle, or a shawl. And there's also different types of modifications. This is translucent, this which causes lead poisoning, and this is with leather. Now you'll notice some of the gadgets here have different things. This thing can only be attached by 1 modification because it doesn't have anything else, where this one can be attached by 2 modifications. Some of them can actually be attached by 3. So if you have, let's say, a baby cradle here, over the course of the game you could attach 2 different things. They don't have to be from the same faction. And you can see the triangle goes to the triangle, the square goes to the square, and at the top of the cards it shows you what the gadget needs and what these offer. And this is a finished gadget. You don't have to finish them to deliver them. But in this case, we have a brightly colored baby cradle that hovers. Cool. That's the thing in this game. You're trying to make cool things, and these would give you 5, 5, and 3 points. So you'd get 13 points for delivering that. So in general, that's what you're trying to do, is put together cool things and cool mix and matches of devices, gadgets that have cool modifications. Now during the actions phase, remember, you only get 2 action points. These are free. Each of these are 1. Let's go through some of these. First thing is, I could draw a Feat card. And again, for an action, I would draw these. And these are different bonuses. I'll go over what some of these do a little bit later. Those are hidden bonuses. Scrap. You can put a card from your hand face down to your scrap heap. This is a face down discard pile that you'll be able to manipulate and maybe pull things back and do certain things with them later. So let's say we spent an action point and I took one of my cards and I put it into my scrap heap. So I've used half of my action points already. Now, some of the free things I can do over here is I can put idle assistants to work. Now I have an assistant here in the idle assistants. I can move them up to the single assistant and do this, which is fiddle once without paying scrap. I'll show you what that means. Later on in the game, you're actually gonna have more assistants out, and if you have 2 of them in the same spot, you could actually put both of them there and do this twice, or you could take both of them there and put them here to do this other thing, which is re-roll and reuse any number of your dice once. So let's just say I had this guy and I could fiddle once without paying scrap. Now fiddle, this is not playing a fiddle, it's fiddling with your dice. So typically what happens is you could change the value of one of your dice by 1, up or down, by discarding a card from your scrap heap. So earlier, I placed a card on my scrap heap for one of my actions, and if I wanted to, I could then discard this card to change one of these dice. But in this case, maybe I use that the Activate Assistant to be able to change one of these without messing with it. So I'll change this from a 1 to a 2. So now I have a 2, a 1, and a 1. And now what that allows me to do is use an action point to fabricate. I can use my dice to put a gadget in play. So I'm going to create a gadget here. Here is a gadget. It is a doll. And right here, I need a 4. So I have to take my 2 and my 1, use all 3 dice together, and I could do that for my 1 action point and place this doll. If it was, let's say, if I had a 4 right here, I could just use this 4, place this down, and I have these 2 dice to do something else with later. Like maybe I could attach a modification. So if this was a 4, let's just say, I could have placed this down. And if I had not earlier placed something down here in my scrap heap, let's just say this was my first action for my turn, I used 1 action point, I could also use these other dice to maybe attach a modification to this. Now in this case, let's just say maybe my dice was like this. So I used this 4 to put the doll, and then maybe I used fiddle. I threw some cards out to manipulate my dice, and I have 3, and then I could play this on my turn here. Because this was a 3, I could use the 2 and the 1, and so I placed a gadget and this, and it's completed. There's only 1 modification. This is an oiled doll. Now in my action points, let's just say this turn, I did some free things by activating assistance, which allowed me to manipulate my dice. And for my 2 action points, I spent 1 to fabricate, 1 and attach. I was just showing you scrap heap earlier for the thing. And so those are pretty much all the actions that need to be done. Now remember, everyone's doing this simultaneously. Then we go to delivery. Anybody can earn reputation for anything they want to deliver. If your gadget is completely full, which right now it is because there's only 1 modification and it's done, I have to turn in, and I would turn in for 7 points. If it was not full, I could choose to deliver it or not, and you could deliver as many gadgets as you'd like. After everyone delivers, everyone would move their assistants into idle spaces, and then you can move it. All right, so everyone moved their assistants down, and then you can move it to a different spot. Maybe I want to go over here and use dice to get me more points and things like that. And then here's an interesting spot. After that, everyone rotates. At the beginning, you're going to be passing all your cards. So any cards that you did not use that turn get passed to your left. So all the cards are going to be moving around a lot in this game. And then during the game, at some point, you'll end up passing all to the right and then back to the left again. And that's pretty much how a round works. Let's look at some of the goals and some of the special abilities and things like that. Let's look at some of these feat cards. These are these hidden goals that you have. This one says, deliver a gadget using only modifications of the same faction as the gadget. So this was a Settlers. So let's just say I had placed this one on here because this is now the same color. It's both from the Settlers. And then once I did this gadget, I could put this face up, and I gained 2 reputation points for each modification. So in this case, I would get 3 plus 2 is that. Now, anytime you actually put in a gadget where all of the modifications are from the same faction as the gadget, you actually get to double the gadget points. So you're trying to do some set collection as well. So this actually would be 8 because this doubles, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 because of this, and I would get 13 points, and this sort of just stays up in front of me, and that's sort of that feat card. And let's look at some of these other feat cards. Need more junk. If you perform the scrap heat action at least twice in the same action phase, put this up and you get 6 points. So it gives you a little bit of focus. Maybe you'll do something you wouldn't normally do just to get this easy 6 points. Fiddling. If you change or fiddle the same die at least 3 times in one turn, then put this card face up and you'll get 6 points. Different things to focus on. At the end of the game, turn this card face up. You get 25 points, but you get 5 points less for every one of these that you have flipped up. So you could do this goal, and then it makes you not want to do any other goals to get 25 at the end of the game. And then here's move your score token forward on the score track. The next space have a multiple of 5. A little bit of randomness, but hey, it's out there. This game's a little crazy. When you deliver a gadget, you may turn this card in and you double the points. So these just show you a little flavor of some of the different goals. They are pretty nuts, some of them. Let's look at some of the board actions. The storehouse allows you to change and do different things with your scrap heap. The recycle allows you to reuse things that you've built or change things off that aren't done yet, some cool things like that. The workshop allows you to mess with dice a little bit easier and differently. The town hall allows you to, put your dice and not use them and get points for them. And the replicator allows you to kind of draw more cards or gain more actions for your turn. And finally, let's take a look at some of the event cards that might come up. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. So this one is, after rolling the dice, every player may change the value of one of their dice. No player may use the scrap action. Some of them are bad. No one can deliver anything this turn. so no gadgets. Some of them you roll a dice and you do different things depending on the dice. And the last one will always be the game ends. At first you roll one die and something might happen, and then at the end of the assistance phase, that game ends. And then then at the end of the game, essentially, everyone's going to add up, flip over all their non-flipped over cards and do their bonus points, and at the end, whoever has the most points is the winner. Now, I was interested in this game because the themes seem cool, the artwork is done by the same guy that did the artwork in Nothing Personal, which I love, so we gave this thing a try, and I've got to say I was pleasantly surprised. This is actually a very fun game. Now, let me tell you who it's fun for, who it might not be as so much fun for, and let me tell you the things I liked about it. First of all, the simultaneous play in this game is great. I mean, if this game did not have simultaneous play, there is enough to think about on your turn as to what you're going to do and what order you're going to do things, and manipulating dice and going here and the scrap heap. There's a lot to think about on your turn. If this was not simultaneous play, the downtime would be too much. This would be crazy. But with the simultaneous play, everyone's doing their actions together. Now, of course, the first time you play the game, maybe the first couple rounds, everyone does their turn one at a time. You go through the actions, you teach people how to play it, and then once they know, the game just hums along. You go through the phases, taking your actions. I mean, you're only spending 2 action points. Sometimes you're doing some free stuff. And it's fast and it's streamlined in that way. And it still does take 45 minutes to 60 minutes to play, but it's relatively quick and it's a lot of fun. Now, the best part about this game, not only is, trying to manipulate the dice, trying to figure out your scrap heap pile and putting stuff down there that you might need later. Those crazy gold cards give you some good focus as to, hey, flip this over if you do this, flip this over if you do that. And those hidden goals are fun and you flip them over at the right time. Those things give you some focus and makes the game a lot of fun too. But the thing that's the best is actually the gadgets and the modifications. When somebody delivers something and they say, oh, this is a colorful baby doll that hovers, or some crazy contraption like this, it's really what makes the game fun, because those crazy gadgets you're making, the artwork's awesome, really draws you into the theme, and saying what you've done is typically the most fun of the game. Now, the actions are cool, going to the different buildings are cool. There's just a lot of ideas here. Now, this is not, I'd say, like a gateway level game. This is probably a step above. It's not like a deep Euro. I'd call it sort of a light to light medium Euro game that I wouldn't introduce to my family because there's probably just a little bit too much going on, but it's a good next step game that has a fun theme. And it's fun. It's not like one I'm going to be pulling out all the time, and it's not one that, this is going to be the first strategy game that I want to pull out when my gamer friends come. But if you're looking for something light and fun, now it does have some zaniness. It does have a little bit of randomness. You saw in some of those gold cards. Sometimes the person who's in first will lose points, and the people in the back will get up some. Sometimes these cards do some random things. Sometimes the events do some random things. If you don't mind a little randomness in the game, a little chaos, then and you're going to play it as a light strategy game there's definitely enough to think about here, but not so much you're just going to be ingrained. This is a fun, light strategy game that I enjoyed quite a bit. So if you're looking for that style of thing and you're not afraid of a little bit of chaos, a little bit of randomness, and you like to have some fun and laugh at the gadgets, but still have a little bit of bite to it for sure, then this is a game you might want to check out, and that's Area 1851.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.